Guys, history is about to repeat itself, but God forbid. God forbid. Blood of Jesus. God forbid that history repeats itself. Because what am I saying? I don't know if you guys have literally seen this. That the calendar in 2026 and the calendar in 1914 are literally the same. The days are the same. The dates are the same. Every single thing the same. I remember in 1914, that was when the first World War? And in 2026, just like that, we slept on the 27th, woke up on the 28th. The next thing we heard, the Orange Man and BB said, we are at WAR, war. I don't want to say too much. Let's watch and see what people have to say about this. Just a very, very short clip. I just brought it here so that we can literally educate each other and so that we can also be aware, because I want my audience to be aware of every single thing that is happening, okay? So if this is a bit off for you, I'm sorry, but just for awareness. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch, guys.
2026 has the same calendar as 1914. So people on the internet are currently freaking out after realizing that the calendar for 2026 is an exact replica of 1914, meaning every single date lands on the same day of the week as it did in 1914, and the calendar actually repeats itself every 28 years, and well, 2026 is 4 28-year cycles later. And you're probably wondering, why does this matter? Well, in 1914 was when World War I started, and people online claiming history always repeats itself, and this year in 2026, things have been intense, to say the least. However, the replica calendar coincidence just doesn't stop there, because 28 years after 1914 was 1942, and you might be asking, what's the coincidence with 1942? Well, World War II was happening during 1942. Well, I can't forget, 28 years after that was the next replica calendar, which was 1970, and that was the Vietnam War. The fact that 2026 has the same replica calendar out of all of these years is wild.
The impossible is happening. I just did some research and this is crazy. So basically our calendars go on a 28-year cycle. Can't have the same calendar. You definitely can't have Easter or Thanksgiving on the same day either. Well, guess what? We have the exact same calendar as 1942 in 2026. So Easter's on April 5th. Easter was on April 5th in 1942. But Thanksgiving, November 26th. Thanksgiving Day fell on Thursday, November 26, 1942. So 1942 was 84 years ago. We're supposed to be on a 28-year cycle with the moon. 84 years, that would be a 21-year cycle. Sums up, Chuck. Not to mention what was going on in 1942. And this is impossible. But it's happening. I mean, this is all for fun and games, you know. But it's happening. For entertainment purposes only. Oh boy.
So, I'm back again with another interesting video. This time, it's about the calendar year. So, apparently, the year 2026 is the same exact calendar year as the year 1914. And here's the write-up about it right here. So, if you guys can see that small print, you guys can read that and check out what the article has to say. But I'm taking a different stance and a different approach on this one, because right now I'm thinking in terms of more or less on a spiritual level. So check this out. So the same exact year, calendar year for 1914 and 2026 are adding up. And I thought to myself, what if we have reincarnated from the year 1914 to the year 2026, but we're just living in different aspects of what we were living in 1914, if that makes sense. But another thing that was interesting to me and caught my eye was that 2026 was the exact time calendar as 1914, the year World War I began. And right now, Many people are saying that we are in the middle or we are in the beginning stages of World War III. So from World War One to World War III in 2026. I don't know. You guys be the judge, but I'm always thinking outside of the box. So yeah, I'm thinking, what if a reincarnation took place from 1914 to 2026, and we are here living these experiences, but differently than what we did in 1914. I don't know. I could go deeper in that, but I don't want to confuse you guys anymore or confuse myself anymore. But hey, it's just something to think about.
So 2026 and 1914, they have the exact same calendar. Like every single day in 1914, it's the same.
As in 2026.
It's the same as in 2026. So this year started with Thursday. There's the kicker. In 1914 is the same year that World War One started.
Whoa.
World War One.
And what are we currently having?
We're not having nothing. We're not having anything. We're not having anything. Hopefully the results won't be the same. I really hope.
Hopefully.
I hope the chain of actions that happened in 1914 don't happen in 2026.
Themselves.
Please. We don't need a World War III. Do you need a World War III?
No.
Yeah, but apparently SA is one of the safest countries to be in during World War III. So I don't know. I think some of us are safe. Plus, we are very neutral. When it comes to wars, we're like, hey,
We're not there.
yeah, don't put us in. Don't put us in. We are good.
Examined there in the light of the United States of America. And the Lord was saying that one of the reasons that America is one of the easiest sitting ducks to destroy because the confidence of the American people has broiled down into their bones like flavor into a Thanksgiving turkey. Americans believe that America is completely untouchable. They believe that the military, they believe that the naval, that the Air Force, that the wits of the leaders who themselves possess no wits, at least none that are easily visible when you watch them on camera. They believe that America as a whole is impenetrable, even though America has more holes than the tree or the mound of the boll weevil, more holes than a beehive, more holes than an anthill. America is home to multiple things that people call sleeper cells. America's enemies not only live here, they possess all the ID of Americans. They carry the proper accent, the proper posture, the proper skin tone of the so-called majority demographic American. They're Russians. They're native-born Chinese. They have been here a multi-generational, multi-million numbered foe that has grown up with the roots of America and are so tangled with Americans that you could actually be married to one of the people that is going to tear this nation down from the inside. Love that man, adore that woman, and all the sleeper cell children that you have brought into this earth, and you will absolutely never know until the day you wake up and find yourself under arrest by the person you said that you vowed to love, honor, and protect, and all that. America's already captured. The noose is on her neck. She's swinging in a tree, but on earth, she imagines herself running like a samurai of power, able to give what for back to her enemies, able to answer the opposition of any nation, because hubris, that is the highest level of stinking pride, has convinced the people that no blood can ever be drawn from them. Even as we see American soldiers coming home under the flag, as I prophesied in the year 2019, that the nation God calls the Persians, Iran by name specifically, would scratch America's face if ever she tried it, because Iran carries fury inside of them. They're sick of American domination. They're sick of America controlling the narrative. I sat in a little room with my mantle upon my head, discussing things that were far above my pay grade, for I know next to nothing about Iran except the fact that you should not call it Iran. It's not an iPhone or an iPad. It's Iran. So I was speaking of the Persians back then. I was speaking of their fury. And then the Lord has brought to pass in 2026 that Operation Fury, the very word that God says, fury, is burning in the heart of the Persians, and they will take American domination and Western interference no longer. That if you start with Iran, Iran will start with you. God said that Iranians have absolutely nothing to lose. If you bring it to their door, they will bring it to your kindergarten. And that will be a match that will be struck in this country that is going to burn down to the nub until Americans know what it feels like, for the first time in over 100 years, to have a war fought on the home soil, a war fought that will take away jobs, that will take away all your spare taxation dollars. The government is going to tax us like mules, like slaves. The government is going to tell us to ask not what your country can do for you, but to always inquire what you can do for Uncle Sam. And even if you don't inquire, he's going to stand up in the form of Pete Hegseth and whoever follows him to tell you what you can do for him. These things God was talking about, that complacency makes a fool of the one who is complacent. Complacency comes from the fact that you think you've arrived.
Anyways, you guys have seen all of that video, and you guys can literally see why a lot of people are now saying, is this history actually repeating itself, because why will we move from the first order end and then coming to this time around we are still seeing the same thing? We slept, we wake up, this man said there is WAR and so on and so forth, knowing fully well that between those years, especially from the first lot I rolled out of my video, where you literally see that there was a World War I, World War II, and this is gonna be World War III. God forbid, like God forbid. See, I have never been an advocate for war, honestly. I love peace. It is okay for me to be struggling and be managing myself to feed myself, my family. But for me to see war where a lot of lives will be lost, God forbid. But anyways, let's dive into some small research that I did, right? Both are non-leap year. Neither 1914 nor 2026 is a leap year. They both have 365 days, so their structures can match. They start on the same weekend, January 1st, 1914, and January 1st, 2026. Both fall on a Thursday, aligning the entire year. The difference between 1914 and 2026 is 112 years, which is 28 times 4. They fit into the calendar repetition cycle. 28 years calendar cycle in the Gregorian system calendar typically repeats every 28 years, right? And the only trick here is the span is 2000, but 2000 was a leap year, so it didn't weak the cycle. Now, leap year between 1914 and 2026 occur in a predictable pattern every 4 years, keeping alignments intact. Each normal year shifts the weekend by 1, and leap year shifts it by 2. Over 112 years cycle, right? Now, because the starting weekend and the leap structure matches, every date fall on the same weekend. The system introduced by Pope Joe Gorey ensure long-term prediction like this. The calendar behave like a repetitive cycle once condition matches the entire mirror. Okay? Now, a 1914 calendar works perfectly for 2026. Researchers can compare this pattern, whether economically, under identical weekend structures. Holidays fall on the same week. Example, Christmas, New Year, and Christmas, New Year days. Okay, now organization can use schedules templates as well, and it also help explain how times cycles work mathematically. Now, is this history repeating itself? Feeling people may think similar events could happen, but this is precision, not causation. Symbolic meaning. Some group attach spiritual and prophetic interpretation to repeating year. A matching calendar does not cause war, economic crisis, or global events. Even though 1914 is famous for the start of the World War I, it has nothing to do with 2026 sharing its calendar. Calendar repetition is purely mathematical. It does not influence human decision or geopolitical. 1914 calendar, 2026 equals to 1914 calendar match because of maths plus leap year. It is a part of predictable repeating system. It does not mean similar global events. So this is to tell us that we should not be scared. Nothing is going to happen. We're not going to be experiencing World War III by the special grace of God. And that is my absolute prayer. And that is why I said, okay, let me bring this here so that we can also be aware. And if you have anything you want to contribute in the comment section, please, the comment section is open. Make sure you contribute something, because I love to read comments a lot to also get some information from you. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And thank you so much for watching. With that being said, I'm going to be Simba, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.